right. Who's ready for some nonsense? I think I'm ready. Are you? You better be, damn it. You better be, or else I'm gonna kill. Oh, no, I'm not gonna do that. What am I talking about? Show hasn't even started. I'm already losing my mind. All right, let's go. What's up, everybody? 48 degrees out here in Queens, New York, coming to you live this morning. It's the morning afternoon live show with your boy Renee, coming at ya now. What's up, y'all? I'm here. I'm ready. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you are all having a great start to your weeks. I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. We got some snow over the weekend here in New York. I actually drove. Whoa. I drove through some of it yesterday as I was coming back from visiting a friend and all that. So it was nice to get some winter scenery as I was driving. But good to be back here. Just a quick heads up, just so you all know. Next week, no live stream next week because I will be on the road on my way back from MegaCon from Florida. For those of you who don't know, I work, I guess now I work, you could say I work the convention circuit, especially the majority of the comic book conventions that happens on the East Coast. So season is starting officially this month. So I will be going to Florida for MegaCon, 4-day event starting on this Thursday through Sunday. So that is where I'm going to be for the remainder of this week. If not on the road, I'm going to be there and then on the road back. On the road again. Look at me, I'm on the road again. So no stream next week. And hopefully you'll understand that. I will try to post some videos for members only. I'm going to try to post what I did last time at Baltimore and in New York Comic Con, and that is post kind of like a vlogish daily video. Things I've seen, things I've experienced, things I'm looking forward to, all those kinds of things like that. So if you're interested in that, obviously, if you're already a member of the channel, you'll get to see that included with your membership. And if you're not and you're curious, well, maybe that will entice you to become a member on the channel and check that stuff out. Shout out first to those of you already in the chat. Arnold, early up and Adam on this chat. Why is your ex in the background? I don't know. You tell me. Because, yesterday here in the United States, it's what we call Groundhog's Day. And Groundhog's Day, if you've seen the Bill Murray movie, it's exactly how it happens in that movie. People gather up in this small little town in Pennsylvania, and they pull out this damn groundhog that was probably fast asleep, having the most awesome dream in the world. And they talk to him and they say, "Hello there, Punxsutawney Phil." And Punxsutawney Phil says, "Burr, burr, 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 burr." Oh, in translation, what the fuck did you just wake me up for, right? And it's like, well, we want to know if you see your shadow or not. Because if you see your shadow, that means you're predicting that winter will be extended for 4 more weeks. If you don't see a shadow, that means, oh, we're going to have an early spring. So what say you, all prognosticator of prognosticators? Translation, put me back in the ground, you asshole. I want to go back to bed. But they pull out the scroll and they read a proclamation. And lo and behold, it was announced yesterday that Punxsutawney Phil exactly saw their shadow. So we're going to have a longer winter than normal. Congratulations. And yeah, so I don't know what your ex, how you met your ex in Pennsylvania. I didn't even know you went to Pennsylvania, Arnold. But she's there and she's being commemorated for her achievements of yesterday, February 2nd, Groundhog's Day. So there you go. Why? Oh, I sound completely different. How so? Well, bad or good or bad? That's, I guess, the first question I should ask. Because I fiddled around with some of my audio settings because I noticed that one of the programs that I use was not working correctly. You think I sound bad? Wow. Well, that's unfortunate. Let's see. I want to see how I sound like. Hold on 1 second. Is it just not clear? Is there like a bad... Hold on. Let me see something. Is there like a bad... Hold on. Let me see something. Okay, that's interesting. So I just listened to myself on the live stream right now, and it seems to be okay. What is it that sounds bad? Maybe that will help me figure it out. Is it my voice? Maybe there's background noise. Maybe there's something else. I don't know. Let's figure this out, shall we? Because when I was testing out my audio before, I did not like how it was sounding. Whooshing sound. So it sounds like a background noise situation. Okay. So let's do this. Bear with me for a moment, everybody. And I probably just sound really bad right now, so bear with me for a second. Okay. No stress. No stress. Look, I think it's safe to say that for the last streams, at least for a good amount of them, I have not had any technical issues. So it was bound to catch up one of these days. All right. Hold on. Okay. I fixed some stuff. How does this sound now? Does this sound better? Better. Okay. Well, that's good. Let's see. Does this sound better? Better. Okay. Well, that's good. All right. It sounds decent. I still feel like I sound very bass heavy. But you're right. It does eliminate that swooshing sound, which is basically, so what you were hearing before is when I don't speak. Now, I use like a mixer, right? So when I don't speak, it eliminates all background sounds, right? But when the minute I do speak, it re-enables everything, and I think that's one of the downsides of using a mic like this one, where this mic is built to, basically cover every sound around it, right? It's not like one of those dynamic mics that focus primarily on directional. So if I had a mic like that, then I'm sure this would sound 20 times better. But since this mic covers all the whole surrounding, I have to find ways to make sure that it doesn't record, the sound of the fan on my computer, or something that maybe is working in the background. Sometimes light generates sound from the electricity, right? So I guess when I was doing my testing before, a lot of what I was hearing was I didn't like the fact that it sounded too bass heavy and almost like not real, I guess, in a sense. And then I uploaded that video on my channel where I did like a quick introduction to something. And I thought it sounded better, but maybe that's just my take. That was just my preference. But I think when I make videos versus live streaming, obviously I have more control over how things come out. So maybe during live stream I should keep it this way. And when I do my videos, I should revert it to the other way. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But thank you for letting me know, Arnold. I do appreciate it. I hope it does sound much better now. Yeah, maybe eventually it will be time to hopefully upgrade to a better mic later on down the line. Did I like the Avatar trailer? If for those of you who don't know, Arnold loves sending me things he sees on Instagram, and it was just this. Did I like it? No. Did it make me laugh? A little bit. And I just thought it's just, I'm so tired of like the Instagram video memes and all of this stuff and this short content that you go through rabbit holes and it's just for like that quick entertainment and stuff. I'm so over all that stuff. But it did make me laugh a little bit because of how ridiculous it looked like. So yeah. But I always appreciate you sharing that stuff with me. Ficon's in the house. What's up, Ficon? It's been a minute. I know you've been so busy with your studies and all. I hope that has been doing well for you or going well for you. I don't know if you're done with them or not, but I hope you are able to recuperate a little bit and now you can relax if that's even possible. But glad to see you. Hope you had a great weekend. So before I get into like the main topics, obviously we'll talk about the weekend box office. We'll do a little recap of January performance at the box office with all the new movies that came out in January. I didn't get to see any new movie this past week. I've just been busy. I've been doing a lot of things. And it's funny because I was looking back on January of 2024. In January of 2024, I didn't watch any new movies that month. This month, at least I saw 2. And then you'll see why when I do my recap. Last January compared to this January, I felt for me personally, there was more options to start to want to watch. Last January, none of the movies that came out interested me at all. But maybe it's just me, but it also looks like it didn't interest a lot of people this month either on any of the movies that came out because the box office this January is off to a very, very slow start compared to last year. And again, we'll review the numbers and all that. So very interesting to see that stuff pop up. So I didn't really watch anything. I know the new Spider-Man cartoon show started on Disney Plus. I really, really, really want to see that. I just haven't had a chance to. So hopefully I can watch that again soon. And I can talk about it when I'm back on the stream. Because by the time I'm back, it's probably going to be, 3 episodes, right? What's that, 3? No, 4. There'll be 4 episodes in. So at least I'll have a lot to talk about that. But I'll be honest. I can't even recall if there was anything I actually did watch last week. Outside of like YouTube stuff and catching up on all the crazy news and all the stuff that's happening. So, Skeleton Crew already ended and I talked about that last week. And I still have not gone back to What If. I just don't have I'm just not interested right now currently. Maybe like this upcoming week while I'm traveling, I'll be able to catch up on some things. But I saw that a new trailer for the last part of Karate Kid, Cobra Kai, came out, and I'm excited to see that and finally sit down and watch all of that stuff. But tomorrow, I'm very excited for tomorrow because tomorrow, Marvel already set up a scheduled stream. 7 a.m. my time is going to be a live stream introducing the new full trailer for Fantastic Four. And I'm super excited about that. I haven't decided if I'm going to do a live stream reacting to it or if I'm just going to do a video and post it. But I'm just so excited because, again, I've said this many times. They're one of my favorite characters in comic books since I was a kid. I'm really looking forward, and fingers crossed that they do them justice in this new movie. And this is going to be a monumental movie for Marvel in general, especially in their movie division and in the MCU as a whole. If they can knock this out of the park, then we're in good hands, I think, in my opinion, for Marvel moving forward. If not, I think they're going to be in major trouble. And they're going to be in big trouble. And DC has a chance to kind of jump ahead and be the leader of the superhero movie genre moving forward. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm super excited for it. All right, chat time. Got a lot this week, but the week after I have a week off from school. Oh, that's great. So I'm sure you're really looking forward to next week. Arnold just started watching Grimm again today. That's awesome. What episode and season are you up to now? Essie was a fun watch, but nothing really special. Skeleton Crew, that's what Ficon. Yeah, look, I'll say this. I've done a good job at steering clear of a lot of the negativity in the Star Wars universe the last couple of weeks, especially when Skeleton Crew was out. So I haven't personally seen anyone talk negative about Skeleton Crew, for the most part. I've seen a lot of people falling in love with this show. And I think it's because there's a level of innocence in this show. And I think the way they treated the kids is a perfect way to treat the kids in this type of story that you're trying to tell. I loved the last 3 episodes. I thought the last 3 episodes were the strongest episodes of the entire season. And they played really well off of each other. You know, it's just unfortunate that you had that much momentum and such a strong finish and then to end it there. Because I would have loved to have, you know, seen it continue from there and give us like maybe a good solid 2 more episodes. But there was so much that reminded me of like 80s movies that involved kids in those last 3 episodes. And I've mentioned a lot of them. You know, I've mentioned, it reminded me of that movie Daryl, of course, Goonies, a little bit of Time Bandits, a little bit of Flight of the Navigator. You know, you think of all the kids related movies that came out in the 80s, where you're putting these kids in unusual positions where there's like big stake adventures happening. It reminded me a lot of that, you know, Never Ending Story, things like that. And there's a level of innocence and charm to how this show was put together. And for that, I do appreciate it. I really, really liked it. You know, it's not one of those shows that I would say is must-watch TV. It's not one of those shows or content in Star Wars I said, if you don't watch it, then you're missing out. Because it's not meant for everybody, you know. But I enjoyed it. I really did. And I could see a lot of people online saying similar things, right? A lot of people are hoping for season 2. I don't know if we're going to get one. If we do, that'll be a huge accomplishment for them. But we'll see. We'll see. Arnold saying, I hope Fantastic Four is going to be amazing. I agree. Arnold's up to season 2, episode 7. I know you're a big Grimm fan. I saw all those autographs. That's crazy. Ficon saying the topic, but off topic, but Tottenham are. You're not telling me anything I don't already know. It's so unfortunate seeing how bad they are this season. It's crazy. They can't seem to get any breaks in the Premier League. They're doing pretty well in Europa Cup, which is surprising. Well, I guess it shouldn't be surprising to me, because of who they've been facing. I feel like they got a lucky draw so far in Europa, but I don't know. Son is not playing the way he used to right now. I don't know if he's hurt or if he's tired or if he has a lack of motivation. A lot of the younger talent seems to be doing well, right? But we still suffer from bad defense, and I still don't think we figured out our goalie situation. So I don't know. It's crap. It sucks. But I still can't help but watch them. That's just when you've been a long, like, when you've been a fan in New York of the New York Mets and the New York Knicks for the majority of my life, you understand that I'm used to disappointment. A lot of us are used to disappointment. So I feel like I gravitate towards teams that are very well known to disappoint or have a history of disappointing people and their fans. So it is what it is. But it is always fun to talk about, especially with people who know exactly what I'm talking about and who follow like this type of stuff. All right. Again, I really love having you guys here. Appreciate all of you. Let's get into our first main topic, and that is always the box office breakdown. Every Monday around this time, I always cover the box office results from the past weekend. Who did well, who did poorly, and who surprised us overall. We had a couple of new releases come out this past weekend. I will be sharing my screen now from thenumbers.com, the great site where I get all of these data points from and everything. But Dogman, new release animated movie that came out over the weekend, claimed the #1 spot with $36 million domestically. It is crazy because this is the highest opening for any animated feature film in the month of January. So it now holds that record as the highest performing animated film to release in January of all time. So 36 million. Now, I did not plan to watch this movie at all. My friend, who I saw over the weekend, saw this with his kids, and he said he was not expecting to see the movie that he saw. They made several references to like R-rated action movies that, of course, if you're an adult, you will pick up on. He mentioned something that it reminded him a lot of RoboCop, and he explained the scene and everything like that. So I wonder if this is one of those movies that, yes, kids will go to because maybe it looks cute and all that, but adults could appreciate because there's a lot of callbacks and references to older movies that maybe, a more mature audience will totally understand and will relate to. I don't know. I also don't know how much legs it will carry on past this weekend into the next couple of weeks. We don't really have that much going on until next weekend, where Captain America comes out. And that's going to be major. I think it's expecting to do right now $90 million opening weekend, right? So we'll see what happens there. But Dogman, big surprise. But also, it's the newest family-friendly movie to come out, and those will always do well regardless. So you're going to have your kids entertained, and hopefully the adults will be entertained at the same time while watching all that. So good stuff for Dogman. Ficon saying Chelsea had a very tough time 2 years ago, but we are getting a little bit better now at least. Yeah, Chelsea seems to be doing pretty well right now, so it's nice to see them do that. For Tottenham, the only thing I could ever think of if we were to ever improve, and I don't think it's down to the coaching. I think it's down to player chemistry. And I think right now we're suffering a little bit from that. We're good in the front lines, right? Offensively, we seem to be good. We have a lot of people who know how to score. We just don't have a lot of people who know how to defend. So we need to figure out the backfield. Arnold saying, I have good news. Oh, hold on. We got good news. I have good news. I got a call and a recruitment questionnaire for new employee. For new employees, I should get a call this week or next week where I will be invited to sign the contract. I hope it all works out. I'm 90% in. Let's go. Give it up to Arnold, who is hopefully going to land a job by the end of this week. Fingers crossed. Prayers to the heavens. I'm eating my vitamins, doing all that stuff, sending good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Because you've waited long enough, and, patience is a virtue, as they always say. So, Arnold, I do hope you get the call and the final contract signing. Good job. Vicon saying injuries too. Yes. Tottenham has been suffering a lot from injuries. It's one of those years where every team, it will happen one day. where a team just gets inundated with injury after injury after injury. It's a bad season. Bad luck, right? The only thing you could do is hope for the best and see what happens, right? So I was saying I was waiting for 2 months. Now it's time, bro. I don't have money anymore. I know how that feels. I do know how that feels. Yeah. But again, fingers crossed. Let's get this done, right? Get into gear. That's awesome news, man. Thank you for sharing that with us. All right, back here to the chart. Coming in second place is the other new movie that came out last weekend, Companion. Sophie Thatcher, Jack Quaid. I would call this more of a thriller, not so much horror, but thriller. $9.3 million domestically. I don't think either of these have been released internationally full on just yet, but international has a little bit, 5.3 million there, 14.6 million worldwide so far. Dogman itself, 4.4 million internationally with 40.4 million worldwide. So Companion is a movie that is a perfect movie to release during the month of January, February. I think, honestly, if I was here, if I was someone at the studio at Warner Brothers, I would probably have pushed this to release closer to Valentine's Day, because it's kind of like an anti-Valentine's Day type of movie. It's one of those movies where, you know, you have a couple, they seem to be going well, and then something comes up that destroys the chemistry between the relationship. I'm not going to spoil a lot of it, because that's the fun of this movie, is kind of like the surprises and the unraveling throughout the movie. I really enjoyed this movie. I saw an early screening of this. That's how I was able to capture the Q&A session with Sophie Thatcher afterwards. That video is on the channel already. I think $9.3 million is a good start for a movie like this. I don't think it was a high budget movie. It's the same people who brought you Barbarian, brand new debut from a director. But I think Sophie and Jack Quaid are awesome in this movie. And some of the other supporting characters are really good in it as well. So very good stuff for Companion there. And I really do hope word of mouth spreads a little bit, because this movie is definitely worth the watch. So Arnold saying, what is Dogman? They mean Wolfman. What the F? Yeah, Dogman is a animated property. I've never heard of it. Never. But, you know, apparently people wanted to see it, you know? And apparently people still want to see Mufasa, because Mufasa is still in the top 3, coming in third place, $6.1 million domestically, 229.5 overall domestically, with a worldwide box office total of $653 million. There are still people supporting this movie. It's crazy when you think about it. And it sends the wrong message, in my opinion, because this movie is terrible. But people love it. So there you go. It's never, I guess, never doubt Disney and their long-lasting internet intellectual properties, because everyone loves The Lion King. So there you go. Coming in fourth place is One of Them Days from Sony Pictures. This is the Keke Palmer comedy. $6 million, $34.4 million overall domestically. You have no international release as of yet, but for a movie like this to come out in January and do those numbers, I think Sony Pictures should be happy about that. Flight Risk dropped from first to fifth place, 53% drop. This is the Marky Mark-led action thriller movie directed by Mel Gibson, Hollywood's favorite. I don't know if that's true or not. But Flight Risk pulled in $5.4 million domestically, $20.7 million overall so far domestically. Small international rollout, $4 million, $24.9 million overall. So I don't know. I have not heard anyone talk about Flight Risk just yet. This is a movie that's on my list. I definitely want to check it out. I want to see Flight Risk. I want to see Presence. And I want to see One of Them Days. Those are the 3 major movies from January I still haven't seen that I really want to check out. So hopefully I'll get a chance to soon. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 still doing well at the box office. $3.2 million in sixth place. $230.5 million overall domestically, with a worldwide total of $462.5. It still baffles me how a movie like this is underperforming under Mufasa. I really think it's a better movie and deserves better business. And the one who outperformed both of them combined is Moana 2, even though it is now officially available on demand for rental or purchase. It's still in seventh place, still pulling in $2.8 million domestically. We need to recap the overall performance? $453.8 million domestically overall, 582.9 internationally, still above, well above $1 billion. A great hit. It's a thing I've been commenting on for the last couple of weeks here, how it's amazing how a movie like this does so well. In eighth place is A Complete Unknown. That's a Timothée Chalamet movie about Bob Dylan. $2.1 million domestically, $66.6 million domestically overall. I think for a movie like this, it's doing decently. I'm pretty sure they probably hoped it would do better, but not so shabby, in my opinion. Coming in ninth place is The Brutalist, one of the controversial movies of the Oscar race. And again, that's going to be a major topic we're going to be talking about later on. From A24 with Adrian Brody, is probably one of the best performances he's ever given outside of the AI use on his voice. $1.8 million domestically, $12.1 million overall. And rounding out the top 10, you have Den of Thieves from Lionsgate, Jared Butler and Ice Cube's son. $1.5 million, $34.4 million domestically overall, with a worldwide total of 49.5. So people still enjoy their action schlock. Just outside of the top 10 is Presence. This movie's not doing as well as I'm sure Neon was hoping. But I also haven't heard bad things about it, so I don't know. Another new movie, Creation of Gods 2, Demon Force. I think this is an anime. Let me see. It's not. It's one of those international action movies. Never heard of it, but that kind of was just out of the top 10. Wicked's still doing well. Wolfman is doing poorly. Wolfman deserves to do much better than this. Nosferatu still there, and so on and so forth. The one thing I do want to look at is, did Better Man do any kind of box office numbers, or did they completely remove that from the box? It looks like they did. That is the Robbie Williams monkey movie, his biopic. It doesn't seem to appear anywhere on this list as of right now. What a disappointment that was for a lot of people. For the studio, particularly, because I'm sure they were really hoping that a movie like that was going to do very well. Arnold saying, if I want to see Mufasa, I'm going to see African Wild Animal documentary. That's better. I agree. You'll get definitely more entertainment from that. I saw Elevation today. That was a bad movie. I don't expect something I like. Elevation, what movie is that, Arnold? Let us know more about it. I don't think that rings the bell. But with that being said, let's take a look at the January box office recap overall. So as you could see, crazy enough, Dogman won January's box office with $36 million in its debut. So it feels like it just came out of nowhere. But Dogman is the number 1 movie of January. You got Den of Thieves 2 claiming this number 2 spot, 34.4 domestically, worldwide 49 million. So we're just looking at domestic numbers here. One of Them Days, also a surprise hit. Comedy, we don't get to see a lot of comedies do really well at the box office. 34.4 million. So you got Flight Risk, 20.9 million. Wolfman, 19.9 million. Companion, 9. Presence, 5. Last Struggle, 4. Brave the Dark, Game Changer rounding out the top 10 there. So you can see you have a mix of horror with Wolfman, Companion. Well, again, more thriller horror. Presence. You got comedy, you got action, and you got animated. So you have all genres representing. It'll be really curious to see what happens come next month when we recap February and see how February pans out. But when you compare this to last year, you see the biggest hit from January of last year was that Mean Girls movie. Now, this was the adaptation of the musical that was out on Broadway. $72.5 million that pulled in the month of January last year. Then you got The Beekeeper, which is one of those Jason Statham movies, $66.2 million. Night Swim, horror movie, $32.4 million. ISS, a sci-fi movie with Ariana DeBose and all that, 6.5 million. The Book of Clarence, which was an early kind of quote unquote awards contender so early in the year. It's so easy to call those out, and then they get like kind of completely forgotten towards the end of the year. But that was did decently for an independent movie like that. And then you have all of these other ones. And what's interesting to note too is that the movie Flow, the animated movie about the cat that a lot of people are buzzing about for the Oscars, it won the Annecy, which is like the animated like movie awards and all that, and is a front runner for winning the Oscars this year. That originally came out in January of last year. So that's one of the few movies that has survived the entire year and still be talked about for award season. So it's really fascinating to see that. But when you compare the numbers overall, you could see that the January box office, when you add it all up, may have done a lot better than this year. So definitely have more options for people in the theater to watch. You notice how in this month last year, no really family-friendly films, maybe Mean Girls, but not really. So the one thing that was missing from last year is something that kids and families can enjoy and all that. So, it's really interesting to see how you compare it year after year. But, when the two top movies of this year barely come close or equal just one movie that came out last year. So you could already see how that has all changed year after year. But it's also options too, right? And what movies will gel well with audiences. And I feel like this month for this year, you had a lot of nice options for everybody to go enjoy in the theater if they're whatever they're in the mood for. So very interesting stuff. And again, it'll be really interesting to see how the rest of the year will pan out. But I think, in my opinion, this is a pretty slow start to the year. But this month, because we're already in it, is going to be massive, especially with Captain America coming out. And again, it's going to be very telling as to how well Marvel will do this year with all of their releases. You got Captain America, you got Fantastic Four, you got all the shows with Daredevil and Ironheart, all coming out this year. So there's a lot riding on the success of Marvel and to see how well they're going to do, and if audiences are still interested. So we'll find out later, like in 2 weeks, how well the audiences will react to Captain America. So let me know what you guys are looking forward to watching this month, with all the movies coming out this month. It'll be interesting to see what everyone is really looking forward to watching in the theaters. Arnold saying it's an apocalypse movie with Anthony Mackie. Oh yes, okay. I can picture the movie poster in my head. Yeah, that didn't look like a good movie. How was it? Did you like it? That was a bad movie. Well, you already said it's a bad movie. So, but is it bad good or bad? Like, oh, I just wasted my time. 2 out of 5. Oh, that's terrible. That's pretty bad. Ficon's saying West Ham just scored. Good. Or maybe not good. Bad. Yeah, Anthony Mackie is interesting because, I question his choices when it comes to roles outside of the Marvel universe. Like, he's a very charming actor, and he can act, but he does a lot of these really bad, like kind of B-level movies in a way. So it's very interesting. Is he just, I don't know, is he just reaching for whatever he can do? I would love to see him do something a little bit more serious. I don't know. It's interesting when you think about people's careers and how they get themselves in certain movies and all. Jester's in the building. What's going on, Jester? How are you? I hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great weekend. We just went over the box office weekend breakdown. Dogman being on number 1. Have you seen Jester watches a new movie or a couple new movies every week. He likes to go back into the vault, into the library. So I'm really curious. Jester, what are some of the new movies you've seen recently? Arnold's curious to see how Black Panther will continue. Well, the rumors now seem to be that they are looking to recast T'Challa. They're looking to recast to replace finally Chadwick Boseman and to see who they can cast as Black Panther. Now, in my opinion, I don't think it's necessary to have a T'Challa character to continue his character, but we definitely need another kind of Black Panther to take on the mantle. Now, I know Shuri is supposed to kind of be like the Black Panther now. I don't know. They could do a multiverse thing where another T'Challa from another universe comes into ours and becomes our T'Challa, Black Panther. Maybe, I know they were kind of teasing that his son that he didn't know about, that kind of made like a little debut at the end of the second movie, he could eventually become Black Panther and take on the moniker, but we would have to wait because, you know, kids don't grow up that fast in just 2 years, 3 years, right? So I don't know if we could ever do a time jump or anything like that. So I think the best bet right now would be multiverse. Maybe Secret Wars will introduce a new T'Challa so that we could continue Black Panther moving forward. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe Doomsday will do something. Because that character is, in my opinion, needed in the MCU. A lot of people love that character. It's also great for representation. It means a lot to a lot of people. So we definitely need that character back, but they need to be smart about it too. And don't make it feel forced at the end of the day. Because if you make it feel like you're just doing it just for the sake of doing it, just to appease the fans, but you don't have a proper explanation as to why this is the new Black Panther, then you're going to lose people. You're going to upset people. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. I am curious too. I am curious as to how that's all going to pan out. Do I think Doctor Doom will die in a new movie? I think the Doom that we're getting is going to die. The Robert Downey Jr. Doom, I think he will die because I think he's a clone. I don't think he's our real Doom. I strongly feel RDJ, the Doom that we are promised to get in Doomsday, is a clone because Doom, Victor Von Doom, is known to always have Doom bots and clones of himself. I think this is one of those. That, or they're going to do the whole multiverse thing again where he is Doom from one universe, and then we're going to see another Doom from another universe come in, and he's not going to be happy that there's another one of him trying to steal his stuff, and he's going to probably get rid of that Doom, and then he will become the main Doom, who's going to eventually probably team up with, like, I don't know, Galactus and whoever else they introduce, especially come Secret Wars time. So I do think the Doom that we're getting in Doomsday will eventually will not be around past this movie. Just saying, I haven't had much of a week of movies because I've been spending days and nights working on this video for my state competitions for my film class, but I do have a list of my top anticipated. Well, Jester, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let us know before I continue on with the other main topic of today, which is going to be a doozy. It's going to be a doozy. I'm excited for Daredevil, guys. I can't wait for Daredevil to finally come out. You know, I was contemplating doing like a Daredevil podcast where I go back through the Netflix shows and the old movies and I kind of talk about them. Maybe I'll still do that. I don't know. And it'll be cool to talk about the new series, you know, when it comes out. Just saying, but I watched Saturday Night this week. It was pretty good. Comedy was great. Pacing was great. I'm honestly surprised it was that long of a movie. It felt like it was real time. Yeah, I mean, Saturday Night was a really nice comedy that came out last year. Probably one of the better comedies that came out last year. I am a little biased because again, I'm a huge fan of SNL. I'm a huge fan of that old cast with a lot of, very popular people, a lot of big names. Not at the time, of course, but eventually, with Chevy Chase and Gilda Radner, all those things. So it was really, and of course, knowing how it all came out and how that final episode looked like on TV, it was great to see kind of like how chaotic it was behind the scenes. So I really liked it, and I'm glad you really enjoyed it too. But you're right, the pacing and everything, it made it feel like it happened really, like you watched everything in that 2 hour time span leading to the show. Like I'm saying, I'm currently watching Top Boy right now, and it's better than I thought. What is Top Boy? Vicon, let me know. Arnold say, I think through Fantastic Four, we will get Silver Surfer, and there will be a connection with New Avengers movie where Galactus will be shown as the new enemy at the end. Yeah, I think we're going to get teased about Galactus in this movie. We already know we're getting a Silver Surfer. I don't think it's going to be the Silver Surfer, but I think we're getting a Silver Surfer. Because in the comic books, the female surfer that we're getting in this movie is a love interest, or was a love interest, right? And I think because the main Silver Surfer was either missing or was imprisoned, she became the Herald of a Galactus as a replacement, or maybe as a punishment. I forgot how it panned out in the comic books. So the way I'm thinking is that maybe she's going to come down to Earth. She's tired of the whole thing. She's going to seek the help from the Fantastic Four and figure something out. Maybe she'll be bad at first, but then she's going to learn the errors of her ways, and or whatever the case is. I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass right now, and that's just my speculation, but I could see something like that happen. Yeah, and I do think we're going to get teased with Galactus. I don't think we'll get to see Galactus probably until Secret Wars, or maybe even Doomsday. Icon saying Top Boy is a series about crimes in London. Two different gangs that are fighting for being able to sell their not so good substances. Oh, okay. Are there any known people in the show that people may know about or may be able to recognize? I'm just curious. And how can people watch it? Where are you watching it? Is it Netflix? Is it another streaming service? Is it Sky? What was it? What is your thing over there? Sky? Or that could be London. I don't know. I'm not so familiar with the streaming services overseas for the most part. Jester, let us know what your anticipated movies are for this month. I'm very curious. Not the actors, I think, but the famous rapper Dave plays a character called Moody. Oh, that's cool. Arnold sent me something on Instagram. Is this going to involve boobies? Let's see. Let's see what Arnold sent. Ooh, I like the look of this. Is this a German comic? This looks fantastic. It looks like a mini book. That looks great. I don't know if you could see that, but that looks quote unquote fantastic. Arnold saying he has the whole collection. It's from the 90s. That's great. That looks amazing. I'm always so fascinated about seeing like how American media represents themselves in other countries, you know? Like seeing like for example, like what you just showed, like a German version of the Fantastic Four comic books, right? That looks fascinating to me. I've seen the same like in Japan for American comics, but in Japan, nobody really cares much about American superheroes, with the exception of maybe like Spider-Man and Batman and Superman, like the very, very well-known characters. And because of the movies now, they are starting to like have more of a fandom over there. But before the movies and before all that became popular and became generally popular, mainstream, um, you would have to go to like really specific specialty shops in Tokyo to find American comic books. And usually, if they do, it'll be like one column of a shelf, and then that's it. And then everything else is manga, you know? So. There's a collection of 30 of the Fantastic Four books. That's great. Wow, that's big. Arnold loves the Japanese Pokemon card design. You know, I never got into Pokemon as the cards. I have friends who love them. I mean, PDQ, friend of the channel and mod, loves the Pokemon, and he has a lot of the original set from back in the day. I never got into it. I played the video game for a bit. Jester saying, okay, I have my most anticipated list, but it's too long for a YouTube chat, so I'm going to have to send it to you over Instagram. Wow, that sounds like a lot. Okay, maybe, yeah, send it over, but for the chat, what is your top 5? Like your main top 5. Like these are the movies I really cannot wait. Also, for those of you watching live, do us a favor and hit that like button. It's a slower day compared to the last couple of days. I mean, last couple of weeks, because really not much big news to talk about. With the exception of all the controversy behind Emilia Pérez and all that, which I'll get into in a little bit. You know, Arnold saying, I'll be 70% at Gamescom this year. If everything goes well with work, I'll send you videos of everything. Oh, awesome, man. I know you like to attend that every year. Last year you didn't. So hopefully you can enjoy it this week. Not this week. I mean, this year. I know you mentioned before that the reason why you're not so excited about it is usually because there's too many cosplayers, right? Like the tone of it changed. So hopefully, you know, you'll still find it enjoyable regardless. All right, here is Jester's top 5 most anticipated movies of the year. Number 1 is Superman, which is my most anticipated movie this year. Number 2 is Thunderbolts. I keep forgetting about Thunderbolts. I'm forgetting. I always forget that that's actually coming out this year, which is crazy. 3 is Love Hurts. That's a Ke Huy Quan movie that's coming out in 2 weeks. And Ariana DeBose. 4 is Companion. I just saw that a couple of weeks ago. I think you'll enjoy it, Jester. I can't wait to hear your reaction. And 5 is Novocaine. Funny, both movies have Jack Quaid in it. So there you go. Awesome list. Awesome list. Companion, I'll say this, you know, I know I owe the channel a full review on the movie, which I will do. I have to kind of change the way I approach reviews on the channel. I used to do them all the time on these live streams, and I don't usually have a chance to clip them out. So I would love to really focus on separating them and doing something on the channel and uploading them. It may just be like narrative to video, that style. but we'll see. But Companion is a perfect movie for January, February. You know, when there's not much around, not much to be excited for, not a lot of highly anticipated movies, but it's a movie that could surprise you and that can entertain you. And this is definitely one of those movies that does that. You know, at least it did it for me. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd, and I really enjoyed it. And I thought Sophie Thatcher is great, and I thought Jack Quaid was great. You knew he was doing a great job because he changed your opinion about his character while you were watching the movie. You at first thought he was adorable and he was very likable, and then by the end of the movie, you hated the hell out of him, which is what is supposed to happen. So it was really, really interesting to see it. And there was like a good small amount of like twists and surprises in the movie. My only complaint about the movie is that I really wish it leaned more into horror thriller, because it felt more like comedy, thriller comedy, because there was a lot of moments where you laugh because it's really funny. It's dark humor, a lot of dark humor in it. So, but Jester, I think you would enjoy it. So I hope you get a chance to see it soon. Fike is going to be gone for maybe 10 minutes, but we'll come back. All right, Fike, no problem. Jester saying top 10 are in our Instagram chat. I'll take a look at it in a little bit. Arnold's top 5 anticipated for this year. Avengers. Wait, Avengers? Which Avengers? There's no Avengers movie this year. Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts, the live-action Lilo and Stitch, and Tron Ares. Tron Ares, I'm so curious about, because I just don't know how they're going to do this sequel to Tron Legacy. Because, you know, especially, again, it's interesting to see these properties come back when there has been nothing for us to enjoy this whole time. When Tron Legacy came out, at least we had some things to look at and to still be part of the universe. There was a short-lived animated series that came out. There was a video game that came out. There were, I think, a book or two that came out. But there's been a long moment and period of silence from this property. And now to finally come back with it, I love the fact that Nine Inch Nails is reuniting to do the soundtrack. I think that is brilliant. What a way to draw attention to it, right? Just like how they got Daft Punk to do the soundtrack for the last one, which is the only thing that I enjoyed the most out of it, was the soundtrack. So it's going to be really interesting to see what's going to happen. You know, Tron is definitely a huge question mark on my list of what we're getting this year. Oh, you meant Doom. Oh, Doomsday. Is Doomsday coming out this year? Oh my God. Is it really? Hold on. Oh. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. It's coming out next year. Okay. Doomsday is coming out next year. All right. So we still have one more year to wait for this one. So. Yeah. Because this year, I mean, we already have a lot of Marvel. You know, again, we have Captain America, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four. That's already 3 movies this year. That's a lot. Right. And then if you look at the TV side of things, we got Daredevil, Ironheart, Wonder Man, I think, is coming at the end of the year. What else? We got what other Marvels? I feel like I'm missing something, like Marvel series related. Oh, I think Vision Quest is coming out this year too. The series for Vision. I think we're getting that this year also. You know what? There's something that can help with this. Something that has been, you know, kind of tested in and out for the last couple of years, and that's called Google. And I could just look it up. All right, let's see. Every Marvel movie and show confirmed for 2025. All right. So let's see. After a year of kind of silence from Marvel, now we're going to get bombarded with Marvel content this year. So get ready. Obviously, Spider-Man, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, that just launched last week. So we're going to get that. Jester's just asking about that. I said, did you see the first 2 episodes? I have not yet. I wanted to see it, but I haven't had a chance to. So I'm hoping when I come back from my Orlando trip for Comic-Con, for MegaCon, I'll be able to talk about it, because I'm going to watch, by the time I stream again, it's going to be 4 episodes in. So I'm going to definitely give my thoughts about that. But it looks fantastic. I love the art style. So you have that, right? Then you have Captain America. In 2 weeks, we're all going to be talking about that. Then we have Daredevil Born Again that comes out in March, right? Then we have Thunderbolts that are coming out in May. All right. We got Ironheart releasing in June on Disney Plus. We have Fantastic Four coming out in July in theaters. Then we have Eyes of Wakanda coming out in August. And this is a live action spin-off series that focuses on Okoye. So that's coming out on Disney Plus. And I think it's an animated cartoon. It's an animated series, it looks like. Let's see. They're developing on buying spin-offs. Yeah, it is. So I totally forgot about that. Then we got Marvel Zombies in October, right? Wonder Man in December. And we haven't heard much about Wonder Man. We got like that small snippet during a sizzle reel. But we're getting a lot of Marvel content this year. A lot. So it's going to be, we'll see what happens. We'll see if the audience is still there. All saying Red Hulk looks like Elon Musk gave Donald Trump his special tea drink. That's pretty funny. Oh, let me check out. I'm going to check out Jester's top 10. So we already know his top 5, right? So from 6 to 10, he got 28 Years Later. I'm hoping that will be good. They filmed that all through an iPhone to give it kind of like that like viral look to it. So that's going to be interesting. Captain America, number 7. Fantastic Four, number 8. Mission Impossible, 8, coming in 9th place. Oh man. I am really excited for Mission Impossible. I love the last one. I think the last one is underrated. I wish more people paid attention to that movie. And in 10th place is Ballerina. I too am looking forward to that because I am a huge Arma de Armas fan. She is definitely my hall pass if I were to ever have one, but I'm not in a relationship, so it doesn't matter. But one thing I always said about her is that she does amazing in action films. If you look at all the roles she had in action, she is brilliant in each one of them. So I'd love to see her do more action stuff. So I am also looking forward to that. So good list there. Good list, Arnold. I mean, sorry, Jester. We also forgot the Jurassic Park movie is coming out this year with Scarlett. That's right. We're supposed to get a new trailer for that soon. So I'm very curious. Like, I don't even know like where they're going with this storyline. Because in the last one, I guess it was kind of accepted that, you know, we are living with the dinosaurs just being around like normal animals. Are they going to continue that storyline? You know, how far in the future is this going to be? I don't know. It's going to be really fascinating to see. Because even though the last one wasn't terrible, It wasn't great. It was nice, nostalgic fun to see the old crew come back. You know, Ian Malcolm, uh, Ellie, and I forgot the other guy's name with the cowboy hat. You know, it was nice seeing the old crew with the new crew doing their Avengers thing. I like that. Yeah, I really, really like that. But the rest of the movie wasn't great. You know, there was something like the whole thing with the with Blue's child and the clone girl, and I don't know. It's just it went off the rails just a little bit. You know, and how many times do we see Chris Pratt doing this? Blue, Blue, no, stop, don't do this. It just gets a little tired after a while. So we'll see. ScarJo's now in it, so we'll see what happens. Just saying, I'm going to a Super Bowl party, and the only reason I'm going is for the movie trailers and the halftime show. I don't know first thing about football. And that's perfectly fine. The one key thing to always know about Super Bowl parties here in the United States, even if you're not a football fan, is one, enjoy the food, because the food is always going to be great and fantastic. Two, yeah, you're going to be the only one watching the commercials for the most part. So enjoy the commercials and the trailers, and then know that if you miss anything, immediately afterwards, you could just go directly on YouTube and watch them all again. We couldn't do that back in the day, but now you can. So I'm sure you're going to have a fantastic time regardless. Arnold saying, I like Ana de Armas also in the chat. Oh, of course you do, Arnold. Tell me something I don't know already. All I have to say is watching Ana de Armas in that Marilyn Monroe movie, Blonde, on Netflix, it completely changed my mind on her. I already thought she was attractive. My God, she is amazing. But on a serious note, she is fantastic as an actress, because look at all the risks she took in that movie. She took so many risks in that movie that an up and coming actress like her would not dare to do. But she went all in on it. All in. Some would say some guys went all in on her as well. Yeah! Just saying. But she was fantastic in that movie. And like I said, changed my mind about her completely. I want to see her do as much as she can. But still, I do want to see her do action, because she is fantastic in action movies. So, yeah. All right, y'all. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Let's talk about this whole thing. All right. And if you don't know what we're talking about, there's a lot of controversy right now with a certain top nominated film at the Oscars. 13 nominations overall this movie got, right? And now, you know, it's leading the way as far as controversies happen with its lead actors. And yeah, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. So the main person in question here is Carla Sofia Gascon. So I guess let's rewind a little bit and let's talk about this. Emilia Pérez debuted last year. I saw it at New York Film Festival, and me and a room filled of critics, press, and industry people were taken back, because we weren't expecting to enjoy a movie like this. I didn't know what the movie was about, but especially it being a musical, right? So it completely threw us for a loop, and we enjoyed. The majority of us really enjoyed the movie. A lot of us were saying that this is one of the best movies of the festival. And this movie is going to do really well when it hits Netflix. Everyone was praising Zoe Saldana's performance. It reminded me of how good of an actress she is outside of the MCU. She has range. She could do a lot of things, and it made me appreciate her so much more as an actress. So immediately I knew that she was going to be in talks for some sort of awards consideration. And then little by little, when the little awards circuits, the little critics circles, when they're naming like their top performances of the year, the top movies of the year, you've been hearing a lot about it. Emilia Pérez, Emilia Pérez, Emilia Pérez, Emilia Pérez, Zoe Saldana, Carla Sevilla Gascon, right? So we knew this movie was going to be big come Oscar time. Then started the backlash online. And the main backlash online started because of the movie itself. You have a lot of the Mexican community and some of the trans community coming out and saying this is poor representation of the trans community and of Mexicans in general. You know, puts a bad light on Mexicans, doesn't represent Mexicans well, and it doesn't represent the trans community well either. Now, I'm not going to speak on that part because, one, I'm not trans, so I'm not part of that community. I will not be able to relate to that, and I will never speak on their behalf on anything. I'm also not Mexican, so I can't speak on their behalf on anything either. All I can do is try to understand their point of view. And the way I viewed the movie was not so much of representation of trans people. First of all, Carla is trans herself. And I think that is a great representation on screen for the trans community as a whole, period. But if you look at the overall plot of the movie and how it all panned out, I personally did not see any problem with anything. It's a movie. There's going to be a level of fiction and fantasy, right? But they didn't say, I didn't think they portrayed anything negative about the trans community. Mexico, they've been portraying so much bad stuff about Mexico for the longest time. The cartels, the violence, you know, how many movies have we gotten about people getting kidnapped in Mexico, being sold to labor, getting murdered? Rambo got so mad at Mexico for kidnapping his daughter that he enticed them and had them come into his own house so that he could wipe them all out. You know, you piss off Rambo, oh my God, watch out. He waged war on Mexico. Just one man, right? But, you know, you look at Sicario, movies like that. So I don't know exactly where they're coming from. So already people, especially the Mexican community, was saying, we don't like Emilia Pérez. Please don't support this movie. Okay, I will try to understand why that is. So it already started off that way. Plus, also, it should be mentioned that the director of the movie is not Spanish, is not Mexican. He's French, right? So that also, in my opinion, surprised the hell out of me that a French director can do a decent, all right, just decent job at telling a cartel-like movie with everything looking very close to Mexican representation that I can speak on. I've only been to Cancun, never really been Mexico, right? But I will try to understand from the point of view of the community. So they were talking about, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, cannot truly fully understand the community and all that. And there were some reports about him saying not so favorable stuff about certain cultures online. In this day and age with social media, I guarantee you at least every person in Hollywood has said something negative about something that people will take offense on. I'm sorry. We've seen it time and time again. Some people should stay away from social media 1000%, but I guarantee you, if you really comb through everybody's like Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, you're going to see something that someone's going to have take offense on. That's just how it is. Ficon's back. Welcome back. Arnold's also saying, I only saw Rambo, Sons of Anarchy with the Mayans, Star Wars, but Yoda's not Mexican. I like how you threw that in there, though, right? So, but a lot of this controversial stuff has been pretty much under the radar, right? If you're in certain circles or if you follow certain people, you'll be made aware of them. But I think for the general public, a lot of the general public didn't know about any of these controversies, right? Slowly, words started going out about the misrepresentation, things like that. But I think overall you could see it got nominated for like 13 categories. It was not affecting the voting body of the Academy overall, right? But in the last 2 weeks, major stuff coming out about Carla and her social media posts and her stance on certain situations that's happened in the last, 5 years, decade. Some not so great stuff to say about the whole George Floyd situation. The not so great stuff to say about Muslim and the Muslim community in Spain, where she lives, where she's from. These posts are making her look like she's racist, bigot, insert bad word here, and it's been slowly being revealed little by little that she seems to have a certain opinion about these things. And this is where politics now come into play when it comes for the Oscars, when it comes to these awards things. And if you think that there's no politics behind all of this, then you have no idea. And we've seen this multiple of times in the past. Go back to 2022 with the whole Andrea Riseborough thing. She didn't do any bad posts or say anything negative online, but the approach that her and her studio and her, I guess, agent had in campaigning for her to not only get more and more people aware of this movie that she was in, that hardly made a dent in anyone's minds last year. I've never even seen it to this day. But to now have major stars talking about the movie, promoting the movie, Cate Blanchett thanked her and said, you should watch out for her. She deserves an award for a movie no one's heard about. And then to all of a sudden score a nomination for actress in the Oscars for 2023. And then you find out, like, oh, wait a minute, there is some meddling going on here. A lot of politicking going on behind the scenes, campaigning. Is this part of the rules? Is this acceptable? Blah blah blah, this and that. So you had that situation. You go back even further with the whole Green Book situation, right? You go back even further than that when what's that movie with Gwyneth Paltrow? What is that? Shakespeare in Love, right? That's when Harvey Weinstein was still very much in control of his studio and had a major influence in Hollywood. And this movie came out very, very at the tail end of the year. But he was already campaigning this movie months and months in advance, right? And how a lot of people were saying that Saving Private Ryan deserved more attention during the Oscars, but it was Shakespeare in Love that won the accolade, right? It's all politics. But now with social media and with everything happening around us, people like to dig. You got people who work for outlets, they dig. It's their job to find dirt on people. And somebody dug around her Twitter post and saw all of this stuff happen. And she put it into the forefront, or they put it into the forefront. And now they're getting blasted on social media. They're getting a lot of hate for the things that they said in the past. They now, as of this past weekend, deleted their Twitter account, right? and was recently on an interview in CNN in Spanish, and how they were constantly saying that I'm not a racist, I'm not a racist, and really getting, the treatment there. And people are saying that they should rescind their nomination. They should campaign to have their nomination removed completely. And they said they're not doing it. And now it's leading, the voting has already begun, I believe, for the Oscars. And this has a good chance of possibly affecting the chances for Emilia Pérez to win any awards from any of the categories, right? But let me be clear on this. I personally never thought that Carla Sofia Gascon had a chance to win Best Actress. Not saying they weren't good at their performance, because they were great. And I'm not putting into play their thoughts on society and their own point of views that are very similar to like what happened with Gina Carano, when all that stuff started coming out. But out of all the nominees, I'm sorry, she is not one of the top. I think we all kind of know that Demi Moore is probably going to walk away with this. Maybe that's just me. But I personally did not think that she was the one that was going to walk away with the Best Actress award. And for Emilia Pérez as a movie, I don't think they had a shot at winning Best Picture. Never thought of it. Definitely one of the better movies of last year and deserves to be part of the nominations. But I don't think that they were ever in real contention to win Best Picture. Right? The only one I always thought that had the number one chance of winning an Oscar for this movie was Zoe Saldana. And unfortunately, she's now being, put into the same situation because of all the controversy behind Carla's stuff. And she was at a screening recently, with press in attendance, and they were, of course, asking her about this stuff. And she basically was denouncing everything that Carla said. Like, I don't believe in any of that stuff, but I find this situation very sad because at the end of the day, it was a great movie. It was great working with them, great experience, and they're very proud of what they put out there, and they should be. But at what point can you, as a viewer, as an audience member, as someone who is maybe potentially voting in the Oscars, can you separate the artist from the art? And I feel like that's a question that we've been asking ourselves for years, going back to the Roman Polanski days, going back to the whole Woody Allen situations, Mel Gibson, Kevin Spacey, recently with Alec Baldwin with the whole Russ situation. Brett Ratner. The list goes on and on and on. The guy who directed the X-Men movies back in the day, I forget his name. Like a lot, of course, Harvey Weinstein. But that dude's a douchebag. Like he should definitely be canceled permanently. But at one point, can you honestly be comfortable and say that you can truly separate the art from the artist? Looking back, when I watched Emilia Pérez, I enjoyed it for what I saw on screen, what I saw with the characters, what I saw with the storytelling and the music. I enjoyed it for what it was. Now that I know all of this stuff happening, yeah, maybe they are a terrible person. But I still enjoyed that movie. And I still think that movie deserves the praises it gets. Because for me, it was entertaining. Maybe not for everybody, but for me, it was. So I think in a situation like this, yeah, I'm not going to be saying that Carla is my favorite actress in Hollywood. I'm not going to say like I would love to have dinner with them. Especially if that's really how they feel about everything that they said. But I will say they did a brilliant performance in Emilia Pérez. Zoe Saldana, awesome performance. She should not be looked upon as part of the bad stuff and the negativity around this movie. Shouldn't. But will she though? Will she get affected by all of this? Will the movie as a whole be affected? Will there be a huge asterisk at the end of the award season this year? At the end of the year, that said, when you look at the record books, what was the second film with the highest nominations in the Oscars history? Emilia Pérez, asterisk. Will there be something like that? Where there'll have to be a footnote explaining what the controversy behind it all. I hope not. But time will tell, and we will see. But what I will say is that, yes, I personally can separate the art from the artist. But in certain situations, and I know this sounds very like, oh, wait, there's a but though, right? Can you, let's start like this. Gina Carano. We already know all the things she said online, and we know where she stands on certain things. Can you go back to Mandalorian season 1 and 2 and say you still enjoy those seasons? Me? Yes. I still like the character she played. I think she fits very perfectly in that universe. I would have loved to see more of that character. Yeah, maybe she's a piece of shit outside in real life. I don't know. I've never met her personally, but I love that character. Let's go back further in time. Can you watch The Usual Suspects? One of the best talked about movies. But then knowing that Kevin Spacey is in it. Or something more recent, like Baby Driver. Kevin Spacey is part of that movie too. Can you still watch that movie and enjoy it for what it is? Me? I can. Because again, it's the movie as a whole that I found fascinating and entertaining. I can do that. Go back even further. Can I watch Lethal Weapon? All the Lethal Weapon movies. Can I watch Braveheart? Knowing that Mel Gibson's in it. Knowing that Mel Gibson directed one of the best movies. Braveheart. Can I still watch it and enjoy it today? I could say, yes, I can. Again, he could be a piece of shit out in real life. Never met the guy. Never had a chance to sit down with him. But damn, he directed a good movie. Years after that, with what is that movie with Broke Ridge something, whatever. With one of the Spider-Mans. About the soldier who saved so many people in his battalion, but he never once fired a shot from his gun. Fantastic and powerful storytelling. Mel Gibson directed it. I can accept that. But then when you look at what Harvey Weinstein did, no, that dude's a piece of crap. Every time I see the New Line Cinema logo, which I saw in front of Companion, which kind of shocked me a little bit to see that again. But every time I think of it, I think of Harvey Weinstein. When you watch the Matrix movie and you see the Weinstein Company, oh, not cool, man. That guy I could never, ever want to support in any way. Roman Polanski. Well, I never watched any of his movies, but what I think he did is also kind of shitty. It's kind of disgusting. Woody Allen. I always knew that guy was weird. Then when I saw the documentary on HBO, it's gross. But I was never a Woody Allen fan. I never liked any of his movies. Did it ever make me want to go back and rewatch any of them or watch them for the first time? No interest in it. But a lot of people loved his movies growing up. So is there a catch-22 behind all of this? Maybe. But I know where I stand with these things. And this is a question that you have to sit down and ask yourself. Can you do this? And you know what? If you cannot separate the art from the artist, that's perfectly fine. That's you. And maybe this could affect the chances of Emilia Pérez winning any kind of awards. Zoe Saldana, who I think she deserves an award for supporting actress? I hope not. But if it happens that way, all I can do is respect it. I won't agree with it. And I'll say it's a major shame, but I'll accept it. I'll respect it. But it'll be very disappointing if that happens this way. So I don't know. I'm curious what all of you think about it. You know, the examples I've given, can you do the same? I'm just very curious. Going back to the chat, Jester, yes, I do know about the trailer tomorrow. Yeah, I when I started the stream, I said I wasn't sure if I was going to react to it live or just drop a video about it. So we'll see. But I am very excited about it. Ficon's celebrating because is it Neto or Nito? Nito just scored. Arnold is saying this whole Emilia Pérez, I think, is bullshit. Everyone has something negatively unnecessary to say these days. Why doesn't anyone talk about Jenna Ortega movies? Sorry, but that was disgusting to watch. It was more like a PDF movie. I agree. Who do you meet in Mandalorian? I don't like Vince McMahon, but I still love... Yeah, great example. Vince McMahon is a piece of shit with everything that's come out about him. And those kinds of things were rumored about him for a long time. But the product that he created is fantastic. Especially now. I'm enjoying the hell out of the WWE now. You know, I enjoyed the Royal Rumble of the weekend with my friends. You know, we had a blast watching that. Loved everything. Stephanie McMahon is great. You know, his son is also great. But piece of shit of a dude, but the product he created was fantastic. So if you don't know who I'm talking about for The Mandalorian, Gina Carano. Gina Carano played, I forgot what her character name was. She was the Ranger, the rebel, the big girl, the muscular girl. Always had the big gun. She was a former MMA fighter. She also starred in the very first Deadpool movie, where she fought with Colossus. She got canceled and Disney fired her because of tweets on her Twitter that support a lot of the right-wing movement. You know, she didn't believe in vaccinations, blah, 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 this and that, you know. So because of a lot of the stuff that she said, she got dropped by Disney, which I don't think I agree with their approach to that. But Disney, if you know Disney, they don't like to have anyone associated with them that has so much controversial takes. Remember, at one point, they fired James Gunn and then realized, oof, I think we just messed up because he's probably one of the better directors that we have. We need to bring him back because Guardians of the Galaxy is a huge hit, right? And James Gunn didn't even say anything to the extent that she said. You know, James Gunn he has this very dark sense of humor, especially when he was like a younger person. You know, that's why, you know, when you are in this business, you got to be really careful what you say online, man. No matter how strongly you feel about something, understand that eyes are on you 24/7. And if you don't give a fuck, that's fine too. But don't be shocked when it comes back to bite you in the ass. You know, it is just it's insane, all the things that can go down because of maybe one point of view that you have, one commentary that you have about a situation. You know? Or, you know, maybe it's your true colors coming out. You know, maybe that's really how you feel. And if that's so, at least now we know you're a piece of shit of a human. End of story. You know, I remember Letitia Wright was giving a lot of problems to the production of Black Panther 2 because of her stance on vaccinations. Yeah, who's that? I forgot the actress's name who plays Wasp. Right? She was in Lost. She also was very anti-vax. You notice that we don't hear much about her anymore? So, I love that you agree with me because of Jenna Ortega. Yeah, I mean, I never watched that movie. I don't have any desire to watch that movie. I'm sure she had her reasons to be in that movie. Whatever. Um, despite that, I still love Wednesday. I thought she was pretty decent in Beetlejuice, right? I'm looking forward to season 2 of Wednesday. I thought she was great in X. So, I mean, I judge because of the performance. I judge because of the character that is played. Now, if she does something in real life that is similar to what happened in that movie, whoo, kind of crazy. You know? So, and I'm not saying everyone should think this way. No, I'm not saying that at all either. I just want to put that out there. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions. And if you feel strongly about something, you're allowed to talk about it. You're allowed to speak your mind. That's perfectly fine. You know, all I'm saying is that it will be a shame. And I agree with Zoe Zaldana when she says it's sad. It's sad that a movie like this, that is, in my opinion, one of the best movies from last year, to be so affected because of this one person's stance on things and what they said in the past. And you know, people are also allowed to change. People mature, people come to realizations later in life. For all we know, they probably don't feel the same way. But if they didn't, and they're the same, well, now we know that at least they're a crappy human being. But man, they were fantastic in Emilia Pérez. I tell you that. I don't know. Anyone in the chat right now, like, did anyone watch Emilia Pérez besides me? I'm just curious. Arnold saw it. Did you like it? I'm just curious. I'm wondering if you liked it at all. And if you did like it, now knowing all this controversy behind its main actress, does it make you feel differently about the movie? Ficon says, nope, never seen it. I'm assuming you mean nope, you never saw the movie. I'm just waiting for Arnold to chime in. It was not bad. But does it make you feel like, would you want to see it again because of like what happened now, what's coming out now? Does it change your feeling on the movie at all? No, definitely not. See, there you go. Yeah, and I think again, like I always believe that you attract people of similar mindsets, right? At least I would love to think that way. But I think that's one of the reasons why, you know, you and I can have conversations all the time and we get along. Now, everyone else here, same thing. You know, we just look at things differently. And I think because we do live in an age where media and social media overexposes everything, not just stuff like this, anything. Go down a rabbit hole of all the health related news reports and posts, and you would think that everything is trying to kill you. You know, it's like, don't do this, don't eat this, watch out for this, stay away from this. There's a lot of that stuff out there. Why? Negativity draws the most attention out of everything. Even the news. That's why I stopped watching the news a long time ago, because I was so tired of being depressed all the time. So tired of it. You know? And listening to like my mom talk about health related news and all that, it really feels like every week they're scaring you away from something. Drink coffee once a day. No, don't do that. That's going to be bad for you. Oh, you know what? Coffee is good for you. You should drink it 3 times a day. How come it keeps changing? Well, coffee's now probably going to be very expensive because of all the tariffs, right? But I don't get political on here. Just a joke. Oh my gosh, shut up. Not that funny. All I'm saying, I agree with you because we simply think more humanly. Humanly, yeah. Beck's example, I know Joe Rogan is very popular, but I find him very dangerous because he talks a lot of bullshit, in my opinion. Joe Rogan talks out of his ass. Without fact-checking stuff, he reacts to things. He's a reactor. Nothing wrong with that. But when you have millions and millions of people, especially a younger generation, listening to every word that you say and taking it as gospel truth, that's dangerous. Because he'll just talk stuff out of his ass and be like, where did he come up with that? It's because he's being fed this, or he reads this, or someone says this, and he reacts to it without dive deeping into really what's behind it. Just like reaction channels do for trailers, movies, all that stuff like that. We react. At one point you could say I was part of that, right? And I still do it even from time to time. But that's just what it is. It's a reaction. If you were to tell me today that drinking coffee like once a day will turn me into like someone who could never have kids, I'm like, what? Are they really saying that? That's my reaction. Wow, that's crazy. No one should be drinking coffee then. My reaction. Then I'll take an hour. I'll read up what they're saying and all that. And I'm like, wait a minute. Who did this research? Who did this like backing and all that? Oh, come on. This is all bullshit. And I would say so. I'm like, hey, you know that report that came out? That was complete horseshit. No one should believe in any of that stuff. And I'll give my reasons why. You don't really see him doing that. It's dangerous. And I say this all the time. Like, I'm not expecting myself to become like a major influencer, right? But to understand that there are going to be tons of people listening to every word you say and believing a lot of stuff you say, you got to take that with a lot of responsibility. And some people just don't think that way. I'm saying I think if I lived in New York, we'd get along well. Absolutely. I could see that. I could totally see that. But yeah. Again, it's unfortunate that there's a lot of this controversy. I thought this was going to be a very vanilla year for the Oscars. Last year, I think a lot of people were kind of like waiting to see if we were going to get another Will Smith moment. Right? Because the Will Smith moment happened in 2023. Was it? Let's take a look. When you get to my age and you do so many things, you sometimes just forget. You sometimes just forget when things happen. It was in 2022. Okay. Yeah, it happened in 2022. So in 2023, I remember a lot of people were waiting. Is there going to be another Will Smith moment? Right. And I feel like that's the running joke every year. And, in 2023, there was a controversy with the Andrea Riseborough thing, which made a lot of headlines. I'm sure most of the general audience had no idea about any of that stuff. But if, when you're in what I do, major talk, right? last year, there wasn't that much like controversy last year. And I think a lot of people were hoping that this was going to be another vanilla year, but now with the the LA fires, that's going to be a major topic of conversation during the awards. And now this whole Emilia Pérez thing. And that's not the only controversy out of this whole Oscar season. You got the brutalist getting brutalized online, no pun intended, about the use of AI for Adrian Brody's voice. That they were fine-tuning his accent with the use of AI. And how everyone online, I saw it multiple times. People are saying, oh, this guy doesn't deserve any accolades for his acting because, if you can't do a proper accent, then why were you hired in the first place? Now, to a certain extent, I believe that, look, if you're looking to hire like an Asian, to fill a role for an Asian character, hire an Asian person. If you're looking to, fill a role for a character who's Spanish, hire a Spanish actor. This guy, they needed a Jewish guy, right, with a Jewish accent, and maybe Adrian Brody killed it in the rehearsals. I don't think there's anything wrong with his choice. And I don't know what he sounded like without the AI stuff. But what I do know is that body-wise, expression-wise, and everything else, he gave a performance of a lifetime in that movie. So do I think he deserves a nomination and possibly the award for Best Actor of last year? 1,000%. So they used AI to like alter his voice just a little bit. That does not take anything away from his physical acting that he did in the movie. It's again, we live in a world that everything is overexposed. And people are always going to be vocal online. We've learned that a long time ago. But people love controversy and they love digging and poking at holes and pointing out things for anything. There are some journalists out there that is their job. Dig through dirt. Because it makes headlines and it drives clicks. Especially in a time when everyone's talking about the Oscars, everyone's talking about all the nominations for Best Picture. What dirt can we find on these things? And they run with it. And it's not just one outlet. Multiple outlets will carry the same news. And then they got their people looking into it, pulling more things and more things and more things. It's endless. And all I'm trying to do here is to put out a point of view that will hopefully explain everything that's happening in an easy way and in a way that will allow you to form an opinion on your own. Because very much like Joe Rogan, there's a lot of people out there who will react and take everything as gospel truth. Do your research. Find out more information before you finally throw the ban hammer on somebody. Do I think Emilia Pérez should be canceled? No. If you feel that way, that's on you. That's your opinion, and I'll respect it. I'm just here to put my 2 cents in it and explain my side of how I look at it. And maybe shed a light on something maybe you were not aware of. So, all right. You know what is important today is the question that Arnold put out there, is to find a good cheesesteak sandwich. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah! I can't even remember the last time I had a good cheesesteak sandwich, Arnold. Now you're getting me in the mood. Jester saying, dude, they also use technology to alter Christian Bale's voice in Batman. Are they going to say that his Dark Knight is a bad movie? I'm pretty sure today, if word like that came out, They'll all say like, "Oh, Christian Bale can't act. He's not a good Batman. Why did he have to change his voice?" I think Ben Affleck had to do that too to get that gravelly voice. You know, but also keep in mind those type of movies will never be in contention for Oscars, like the big categories. But because this something like The Brutalist is considered for an Oscar in two major categories. Oh, wait a minute. But they used AI, and AI is a hot topic, of course, obviously. You know, the strikes that happened, you know, with the actors' strike, it was because of AI for the most part. It's gonna rile people up. And that's why people put news like that out there. Arnold saying it's the same thing. Why is Professor Snape in the new Harry Potter series black? Even everybody's talking about this. You're talking about the upcoming series, Arnold? FICON, Chelsea game just ended 2-1. Let's go. Congrats to Chelsea, FICON. Who were they playing against? Oh, they were playing against whatchamacallit? Well, what was the team? Hold on. You mentioned it before. Sorry, I forget. West Ham. That's it. That's awesome. I'll catch the replay. I love watching the replays on YouTube. You know, especially since sometimes the times of a lot of these games are too early for me. So I always watch the replay. So I'll definitely check out the highlights for that. Arnold, are you excited for the Harry Potter? Is anyone here excited for the new Harry Potter show coming out on Max, on HBO? Also, by the way, just a reminder, if you're liking this so far, please don't forget, hit that like button. Everyone here will greatly appreciate it. Arnold is looking forward to it. Cool. I am too. I feel like there's been enough time from the movies that I'm open to a new telling on Harry Potter. Whether it's going to be more of the same or maybe more from the book, I don't know. But I think now is a good time to kind of bring it back. There's another thing. Look at all of the stuff that J.K. Rowling has said in the last 10 years, especially when it comes to the LGBTQ plus community, right? She said so many things to the point where a lot of people consider her to be canceled or should be canceled. But yet, she's attached to one of the highest grossing properties in media today. When it comes to Harry Potter, the books, the movies, the Broadway play that's still happening today, it's a moneymaker that Warner Brothers cannot milk enough of. That's why they're redoing the whole thing and making it into a show. You would think more and more people would be not interested in Harry Potter anymore, but the Harry Potter fan base is still strong and recruits new members every year. So that's another great example. But you don't understand why the Snape thing. Yeah. Can you remind us as to what the whole controversy is with the whole Snape thing? The best thing living in Europe is being able to watch football matches at a good time. That's true. That is true. Because you are within the right time zone. All right, I'm going to look this up real quick. Maybe I'm not pulling up the right information. Yeah, I can't seem to find. Oh, I see. They wanted to hire a black actor for Snape. I see. Well, yeah, what does that matter? Why? Because we already had a Snape that's white, so no one's allowed to change that afterwards? It doesn't matter. What matters is the character. You know, whoever they hire has to just be a great Snape. Remember, go back when the Marvel movie universe started. And Sam Jackson was cast as Nick Fury. Nick Fury was a white character in the comic books for a very long time. When they introduced Nick Fury in the movie universe, they changed the character in the comics, but under another universe, under what they call the Ultimates universe. And they made Nick Fury look like Sam Jackson. Now, I believe it was Jackson coming out first versus the comics. I believe. I could be wrong. Let me see. When did let me retract what I just said and let me be factual. I'm not Joe Rogan here. The black version of Nick Fury debuted in Ultimate Comics in 2002, and it was inspired by Sam Jackson. So when they moved forward in the Marvel Universe, MCU, the movie universe, they decided to stick to that, and they actually hired the real Sam Jackson to be Nick Fury. But I remember when the change was made in the comic books, it drew a lot of attention. Like, why are you changing Nick Fury to a black guy now? But what does it matter? You know, at the end of the day, if it still embodies the same personality and character of Nick Fury, doesn't matter. Plus, you're allowed to do new takes on characters, right? So what's the problem behind it all? I'll say the problem with the discussion is the legends that they want to make the series for the viewers after the books, and in the books, every character is described in detail. So in the books, did they say that Snape was a white person? I'm asking because I never really read the books. I mean, I vaguely remember reading the first one, but that was a lifetime ago. And things don't stick around in my head that much longer. But I will say, again, without getting political here, is that I am against them purposely changing the ethnicity of a character just for the sake of representation. Like, and you look back, some of the stuff that we got in the last couple of years, you can tell that was very obvious that some choices were made just because of that. So, oh, it would be nice if we had a black character in this movie. Oh, let's just make this character black. Like, that is something that for me, it doesn't sit well with me. You know, make your choices on what the story is and what you mean the character to be, not because you just want to have someone there to represent a certain ethnic group or a sexual preference and all that. If you look back in with Disney, you can tell that they finally took several steps backwards because especially with Pixar stuff, because they were kind of jamming it down our throats, the whole diversity thing, right? Again, I have nothing wrong with diversity, but when you're doing it just for the sake of doing it, just so you could do it, and it doesn't serve a purpose for the story, then that's when it gets a little like, come on, stop it. Arnold saying, yes, so they did describe Snape as white in the books, but I don't care. I want a good series. And I agree. I think at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Make the series enjoyable and watchable. You know? God, it's, you know what it is? Again, it's just people trying to find ways to complain about something. Remember when the movies came out and they were really complaining about the Cho character, the love interest for Harry Potter? You know how much hate that actress got? For what? For me, it's hard because I especially more like the normal Harry Potter fans. I want a good series. Yeah, well, I mean, it also goes back to the conversation we've had before, you know, about fandom and how fandom can be very toxic. You know, we saw it already with Star Wars. We already saw it happening with Marvel in recent years. DC to a certain extent, but every fandom has such levels of toxicity. Fans that go too far. This is not the way I want it. No one should do this. No one should like this. Why is this happening? That's not my Star Wars. Yeah, and now look at what's happening with Star Trek. Yeah. Vicon, you have a great rest of your evening. Always a pleasure having you here on the stream. Congrats again to Chelsea. I hope you have a great rest of your week. And hopefully I'll catch you in the next stream. Also, good luck for the rest of your studies this week, too. Arnold saying, do you know anything about Avatar? I think the Avatar elements. Are you referring to the movies from James Cameron or Avatar The Last Airbender, the animated series and the live action Netflix show? The film is only half out. Oh, so you are talking about the movies, right? So I don't know exactly. Oh, sorry. You're talking about Netflix. So I personally never watched the Avatar series, the original series. I watched the live action series. And I enjoyed it. But from what I understand, the animated series was split up into chapters, and every chapter represents an element. So I think the first, the whatchamacallit, the first book chapter was about water. The next one is going to be fire. And I think the next one after that is earth, I think. And then wind. I think. I don't know. I could be wrong. You mean the movie. Okay. Avatar, but which movie, though? The James Cameron movie with the blue people or the M. Night Shyamalan movie? Or maybe in Germany, Netflix is showing Avatar, the blue people, not the blue one. Okay, not that. Okay. Which movie are you referring to then? I'm curious. Let's see. Avatar Netflix movie. Yeah, all I'm getting is the series, the last Airbender series, Avatar 2023. Okay, let me look that up. Avatar: Way of the Water. That's the one with the blue people. Yeah. Or is there another Avatar you're referring to? Yeah, I'm trying to see like Avatar Netflix movie 2023, and I'm not seeing anything. Like the only thing that constantly keeps coming up is the James Cameron movie. Unless in Germany it's called differently. This movie's called differently. I don't know. Well, let me know, Arnold. I'm gonna be on for like another 5 minutes before we start wrapping things up. Not much other stuff to talk about. Like again, it's been a very slow news cycle for the last week. I'm pretty sure we'll get we'll get some more news by the time I come back. Also, just a recap for those of you who didn't hear the announcement before. No stream next week. I will be on the road. So the next stream that I'll have will be on the 17th of February. So stay tuned for that. I may decide if I have time the week next week is maybe I won't stream on Monday, but I could possibly stream another day. But I will, just keep an eye out on the channel in the post because I'll update you guys through there. So Arnold, just send me on Instagram. Okay, I'll check it out later then. Or now because it looks like you sent it now. Ah, so that's a series, Arnold. The one with the boy with the arrow on his head. That's a series. Um, hold on. So yeah, um, no, it's okay. I enjoyed that series, and I don't know if you've ever seen the original animated series that it's based off of. I've never seen the original series, but I know it's a really loved series. A lot of people love that series. But I love the live action show. I found it to be very entertaining. I really enjoyed it. I do want to go back and watch the original animated series, but I just haven't had the chance to yet. I'm looking forward to season two. So season two is coming soon. And the main focus is going to be fire element. Now, if you don't know what happens, each main character is from a tribe, and they specialize in a certain mystic magic based off of elements. So, um, you know, Avatar's like the chosen one, and he's from the wind tribe, and he teams up with the girl from the water tribe, and Zuko is the bad guy from the fire tribe. So yeah, I'm looking forward to season two. And I think the kids are great. The chemistry the kids have, I think is really good. You like the blood magic stuff? Nice. Good stuff all around. All right, guys. I do know what you mean, Arnold. Um, oh, I was saying something about Star Trek before. It's amazing how, we keep talking about how bad Star Wars is being treated and how Lucasfilm and Disney seem to be not knowing what to do with Star Wars. I'm so thankful that at least it's not like Star Trek, because it looks like Paramount has no idea what they're doing with Star Trek. And it sounds like everything they do, people don't seem to enjoy, with the exception of like, I hear decent stuff about Lower Decks and all that, but it's a lot of this stuff that's happening with Star Trek that seems to have major discourse with the fan base right now. So that's why, when I said about toxicity, regardless of what fan base you look at, there's going to be a lot of toxic fandom and people complaining about things. And right now, it seems like there's no fandom that's safe, or universally they love their property, because everyone's complaining about something. So at least for now, I'm thankful that Star Wars is not as bad as Star Trek. Because it could be much worse. It could be what they're suffering through right now. Yeah, especially with that last movie that came out, Section 13 or 31 or whatever it is. My gosh, I've heard so much backlash about that movie. It's crazy. And I saw like an interview with the creators, and they look like they have no clue what they're doing. So, but yes, now seems to be a good time to call it a day. Thank you again so much for tuning in and joining in on the conversation and the fun. If you're watching on demand or later on, I appreciate all of you. I will take care of myself. Thank you. I will have fun. But big shout out to Arnold, of course, Ficon, Jester. Awesome to see you guys here as always. Strangely enough, no Kevin Davis sighting. So I hope Kevin is doing okay there. I was looking forward to hearing their thoughts on the upcoming box office and all those things like that. But for those of you who are also watching and just keeping silent in the background, I love you equally as well. But I will see you in 2 weeks' time back here on the channel. I hope all of you have a great rest of the week and have a fantastic week next week. Until then, I will catch you guys later. Don't forget, tip your waitress and your bartender. Turn off your phones at the movie theaters. Stay cool, stay classy, stay safe. I will catch you all again in 2 weeks. Maybe sooner, I don't know. But I'll see you all next time. All right, everybody? Peace out, y'all. Bye.